Howdy. Alright, so we have got our distillation tower in here, and we have oil coming in down here, and I have built this contraption, which you will notice my building has gotten larger and larger and larger to hold all the piping of said contraption. This was a pain in the butt. I've done this multiple times, and it has changed this time since last time. And you know what? There's actually one thing I forgot to add. Crazy, we need power coming to said contraption. There's no power wires.
There's copper cables going to it.
Well, the distillation tower itself will work, but this over here will do absolutely nothing because I forgot to put in the power.
Well, aren't you an idiot?
So I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4x tin or zinc cables and an LV transformer, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 4x annealed copper cable, and that I think I have. Electron box. I got 2. I'll make the copper cable while you're making the LV stuff.
You just said an LV transformer, right?
Mm-hmm. And the LV cables.
You make the cables. I will make the transformer.
Well, while you're making the cables for the transformer, why don't you make the cables we need? Because I'm working on the annealed cables and trying to get them placed. How many of them do I need?
That's too much math in my head.
You need 5. Times 4 is 20. Divided by 2 is 10.
What? You're just confusing me. Stop.
10 tin ingots in wire mill. For what?
For that.
For what I need, yes. 2 for what you need. So that'd be 12.
3 for what I need.
Okay, 3 for what I need. I forgot about the casing.
No.
I need 1. I forgot about the casing. I was just thinking the actual making of the transformer. Alright, so basically this is going to be replacing our 2 distillation or distilleries that we've been using. If you guys remember way back, we have this distillery down here that's turning oil into sulfuric gas, which has been cut off. And we had one over here, which has been removed. That was turning it into naphtha for our plastic. And the naphtha to plastic recipe has been deprecated. The way we were doing it, if I remember correctly. And didn't we have to change the way we're making plastic now?
Yes.
Molten plastic. So we need ethylene and oxygen to make molten polyethylene now, instead of the naphtha and air cell. So at least we can use oxygen instead of air cells, because I always hated the air cell thing.
What do you need done with those 10 ingots after their wire mill?
They need to be turned into 4Xs.
And then coated?
Yep. So since we need to get that done, and we're up to the point where we can actually make a distillation tower, which distillation tower gives you a better use of your oil. You get more from it, basically. We've decided to go with doing the distillation tower. And then we're actually, if you notice, we have a bunch of distillation towers. We're going to go with this big monstrosity here next. This is just going to get us the main 4 things out of our oil, which is naphtha, light fuel, heavy fuel, and gas. And then we will decide what we're doing with each of those after
Did you get
that.
the cables out?
Yes, cables are done. Alright. So now this should do this, and actually, by doing this, I don't know why I didn't think of this while I was setting this up, probably because I had major piping on my brain instead of actually wiring. I'm not going to need the conveyor module that I put on here, because I'll actually be able to put the transformer right there and power it properly instead of using a conveyor module. Alright, so there's that. And now when I set this transformer down, power inside will be facing me. So when I set this, I want to be standing here and face it this direction, and then that will allow everything to connect without me having to wrench it. And just to make sure, well, there'll be 4 in there. Okay, so now trying to explain this massive shit and what we're doing. Each one of these chemical reactors have a program circuit set to 4 in them. Each one is going to be receiving hydrogen cells. We got to get them set yet. We don't have enough over here to do that. We got to put some more in the system. We'll do that in a little bit. But this is going to desulfonize the oil. If you go look up oil, and it doesn't matter which one you use, I usually just use the Buildcraft oil bucket. And you right click on that and then click over like 3 or 4 times. You'll get the distillation tower, and you'll see that we have crude oil at 50 liters, medium voltage of 96, 1 second to process. We'll make sulfuric heavy fuel, sulfuric light fuel, sulfuric naphtha, and sulfuric gas. And then all of them have to be desulfonized in those 4 chemical reactors. So if you right click on, say, the naphtha, and you look at the chemical reactor, it is a low voltage recipe two hydrogen cells and sulfuric naphtha makes hydrogen sulfide and regular naphtha with an extra empty cell. So that's what this contraption is to do. When we turn the distillation tower on, it will start filling these machines up through these pipes. You'll see we have one pipe here coming down to this one, pipe here coming down to this one, and then if you can see, we have one coming straight over from that one, and there's one straight to that one. And then the type filter down, or the regular filter down here, is just to buffer a stack of hydrogen cells so we're not running out of hydrogen cells, because in this chemical update, you need a lot of hydrogen cells all over the place. So what we're going to do here is we want to have a off switch for our distillation tower. So we're going to put that on there with a lever for now. This is the poor man's shut off. We will actually put redstone down there and put a lever in front or something.
You want the redstone?
Not right now. No, this is good.
We have redstone readily available.
I know. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and turn this on. The main thing to make sure when you do this is remember that the output hatches will void anything over what they can hold. So the LV hatches we're using can only hold 16 buckets worth, 16,000 liters. So you have to have these machines going and processing before you start doing this at a large amount, or you will waste your stuff coming out. So there we go. It is turned on. We're starting to get our gas and our fuel, and then on the back side will be the other ones, and it'll take a good little while for them to run. And while it does that, we'll come down here and I will show you guys the hydrogen setup we have. We probably need to make more cells. I've got 2 more stacks on me. So we've been electrolyzing salt water to get hydrogen. We don't have a whole lot of it. Underneath here we have a ultra low voltage fluid tank that is basically just working as a canning machine, and it'll can up our hydrogen cells. And then there is a electrum pipe here that has a conveyor module on the bottom of it. You can just barely see it there. It is pulling it out and putting it into this pipe. And if we come over here, you can see my network of electrum pipes in here. It goes all the way down there, which will be depositing them into that filter that will hold 1 stack of them to be put into those machines. And as soon as this bad boy gets done with those, I need to throw in another stack, and that should be enough to at least get these started, because I think there's a few extra in there. I should have about 3 stacks, I think, sitting here. So I got a stack in that one, I got a stack in that one, and I got a stack in that one, and oh, we got all 4. So there we go. We have 4 stacks of hydrogen cells and none in the buffer. So we need to get probably one more stack in there just so we have a buffered stack of hydrogen cells. Now, as I said, this is going to take, a little while because, like, the light fuel here is going to need 12,000 before it'll actually run. I think that's about the same for all of these. The sulfuric gas is actually about ready to run its first because it's at 10,000. It needs 16,000. Now, what we're doing with the output, if we look at the sulfuric gas, which is this top one crazy, in the chemical reactor, when we do the hydrogen cell and sulfuric acid, we used to get a sulfuric acid cell. Now we get a hydrogen sulfide cell and an extra cell. So what we're doing is we're running the hydrogen sulfide cell back down out of each one of these. Once I turn them on and tell them to do it, this pipe here will be pulling them out, putting them down in this bottom electrum pipe. And if we come back over here, which this is one thing that I didn't get done yet, I need to pull off the empty cell. But if she can find me, over here we have a pipe coming in. Oh, she found me. Now she's just got to get up here too. Oh my god, she actually used a scaffold. Alright, so the pipe will come in here, and then she knocks me off. Well, just because she did that, fuck my ass up. So the
turn off your jetpack is not allowed inside the base.
So the hydrogen sulfide cells will come in here. They will get dumped into the tank. This again is being used as a canning machine. If you don't have GT++, you just use a canning machine. This is a poor man's canning machine because it takes no power. And you use the pump to pull it out, put it into the tank. And in one of the next few videos, we'll explain or show what we're doing with the hydrogen sulfide, because that has changed since we actually have it instead of the hydrogen or sulfuric acid now. And then this is going to pull the empty cell out and run it back over there to the hydrogen through the other electrum pipe that is running through here and goes back to put it in. Now, because we're going to have empty cells coming through this along with the hydrogen sulfide, we actually need to, you know what, actually that would be easier to do up here than it would be back here. So if we climb back up here, this is where they're getting input at. If I take this, not the type filter, I take this item filter, which Crazy was nice enough to make me a bunch of, and I put it, say, here, because we want it to be pulling off before the other. We go it this direction, and we put a conveyor module on a pipe, not on the machine itself. If you put it on the machine, it takes power. If you put it on a pipe, it doesn't. So if we put this here, and we put the conveyor module which I hate doing this because of the way they change these damn pipes now. We'll put this on there, and we will tell it to import. That will import the empty cells, and we will need a shutter to go right here to block it from going. Well, actually, that is on import, so it can't go that way. So we actually won't need the shutter, or shouldn't. And then we tell this that we want. I need an empty cell. Hold on. I want to put empty cells into that filter. That way the empty cells will go on and not go in there and get stuck. Can I still get up here? No. Snuck around it apparently. Alright, so we put this here. So any of them will go into that buffer and then get put into this pipe and sent on back through the system. Now, the other thing we have to do is we have to set conveyors on those machines to actually pull things out, because you can only, because we're using Gregtech pipes. Alright, you'll see we have one done. Let's go ahead and shut this off so we're not wasting anything, which luckily we're not yet. Okay, so on this one and this one, we need to import and import. That'll force them into the pipe and down there to. Can you go check the thing and see if we're getting hydrogen sulfide in that tank?
Okay.
And then I will come back over here to the other side, which I'll have to break in the wall.
Yes, we are.
Alright, so that is completely working as expected. Hopefully a creeper don't come up behind me while I'm doing this. Alright, pop this here, do that and that. That will pull the hydrogen sulfide and the empty cells out of these, replace them with more hydrogen cells, and now the only thing we need to do to make sure all 4 of these machines are turned to the outside over there, turn on the fluid auto output, and Crazy should now be able to see that we have stuff coming into all of our fuel tanks down there, or at least most of them. Technically right now one of them, so I gotta go around and turn the other 2 on.
Let's say I got heavy fuel.
Yep. And the other one isn't ready yet. It, I don't think, has ran. But these have. So we'll turn these. And you should be getting refinery gas now, or in a second. And you should be getting light fuel as well. And I'm going to come down and check it out for myself. So we have these 4 tanks back here. There's the heavy. That one is the one that doesn't have any yet. There's the light. And there's the refinery gas. So once this one runs, it will pop its stuff in there. So I'm going to go up and turn this back on so we can let it run a little while. Make sure everything is working as intended and there's no hiccups, which it most definitely should. I don't see any reason that we should have an issue, but it's always good to do a test run to make sure.
Do you want me to stay down here?
Actually, no, the main looking at it is more up here than it is down there. I can tell if everything's working properly up here. Actually, the only one that really needs to be kind of checked on down there will be the hydrogen sulfide to make sure those empty cells aren't getting stuck. So as long as they are going off and filling the hydrogen properly, everything should be good to go. So I will keep an eye on that because you'll be going to bed soon. We're gonna have to get some more power in here. The next episode will probably be us dealing with that hydrogen sulfide. We've looked at what we're going to do with it, and it's going to be turned into hydrogen chloride. We can probably do that in the next one as well. Because that is honestly what we did this for. Let me look and see what it was we were planning on doing. I think we were using naphtha still. Or
yeah, maybe the crack naphtha, I think.
Yeah, we gotta do the cracking thing. You can crack a lot of things to get it, but I think we were doing naphtha. We were using steam cracking, and we were doing severely. So that'll be one of the last ones over here. Severely steam cracked naphtha, and then we were running that through a distillation tower, one of the huge ones I had you make, and that will be giving us heavy fuel, light fuel, butane, benzene, toluene, butadiene, propane, propene, methane, ethylene, and ethane. So that will probably be the next thing we set up. We are actually going to use the cracking unit that is down here to do this. Now, I want to check one thing real quick, because we have to crack our heavy fuel. It really has no use as a heavy fuel, or very little use actually. Let's see. The light fuel we can burn. The naphtha we can actually burn in a gas generator. The refinery gas we can burn in a gas generator. But the heavy fuel we can only do in a semi-fuel boiler, which would mean we have to put it into our bronze boiler. So we have, yes, we would have to put that into our bronze boiler to get rid of it, which is a very inefficient way to use it. So what we're actually going to do is severely steam crack. I'm trying to find the moderately light, moderately severely. That's hydro. Okay, severely steam cracking of the heavy fuel will give us light fuel, naphtha, butene, benzene, toluene, propene, propane, butadiene, methane, ethylene, and ethane. So we technically don't need to do the naphtha unless we run into where we need a lot of plastic. So, because we already have to do this to give it a use. So that'll be what we're going to set up next time, is running our cracking unit, getting the steam into it, and setting up how we're getting all of that stuff out and into separate tanks, and then what we're going to be using each one of those things for on this big bad boy here, so then Crazy can have her plastic setup back proper. So we're going to have a tank for every one of these outputs, Crazy, except for there's
tanks for every one of those outfits.
Well, we have light fuel tank already, so we won't need that. We have a naphtha tank already, so we won't need that. But for the other 3, 6, 8, we will, because we have a methane tank as well. So we will have to make sure we have 8 tanks down there empty before we do this. Alright, so this has been running a little while. Let's go check that and make sure let me check power, make sure we're okay on power at the moment. Yep, we still got plenty for the moment. And this is going to help with our power issue greatly, because we can start burning off some of this excess stuff.
We have 5.
Okay, so we need 3 more. And we have nothing in here, so the empty cells aren't getting stuck. So yeah, everything looks like it is working as intended. Happy to see that. Also, in one of our soon-to-be-done videos, we will hopefully be making some GT++ multi-blocks. I really want to get to where we can run the thorium bed reactor that he added and actually has working. But our first step is making the alloy blast smelter. I'm not sure if he took my suggestion or not, but when he gets the newest release working that we can update, there's some kind of issue with it at the moment. There may be a better way of getting zircon, so we don't have to, or zirconium, so we don't have to waste our tin at the moment to get it, or at that time like we do right now. Hopefully he'll take one of my suggestions. But that is it for
Nope.
What do you got?
Did you upgrade these?
Oh, I forgot all about them. Thank you. There's something that was changed in the most recent update of GT5, and that is that you can change the coil blocks in your Pyrolyse oven. And we have the old ones, so we actually have the Canthal coils in both of ours, as you can see in here. And we are going to upgrade them. You can put copper nickel in now, so you can make the Pyrolyse oven earlier. And if you run the copper nickel, you will have 50% speed. If you run the Canthal, you will have 100% speed. And if you go with the nichrome, you will have 150% speed. So this will make our pyrolyses run faster. Now, at some point, we can upgrade these even higher, which I need to show you what Crazy's been busy doing this week while I've been off driving her crazy doing other things, or crazier, I guess, since we are talking about crazy here. Alright, so we should just have to give each one of these a whack, which will re-enable them. There we go. So now when they have wood, they will take off. We also need to get them changed over. That'll be a video coming over. We're going to change them off of creosote very soon. But you will see that we now have HSSG coil blocks on our multi-smelter, which makes it do more processes at a time, if I remember correctly. We also, if we go upstairs, we'll see that we have HSSG on one of our blast furnaces, the other one's still on nichrome, and will probably stay on nichrome forever. We don't need a higher heat on this one, but we do on this one. This one here, to get to the HSG, was a real painful, power-hungry process because she had to make tungsten and then make tungsten steel and then make SSG. And she had to actually make the tungsten steel coils to make the HSSE and HSSG.
I had to make the tungsten steel to make the HSSG. Had to have the HSSG coils to make the HSSE.
There you go. I knew it was one of those. So let me show you in any eye here. So she made, and she made us a HSSE medium voltage drill. This thing will eat the world. I love it. So first she had to cook up the actual tungsten, which, where in the hell is a tungsten ingot? There it is. So tungsten ingots she did in the vacuum freezer. So there is the tungsten to hot ingot. Takes 1,440,000 EU at 300K to cook tungsten. The 300K is what we needed the nichrome for. And then you actually have to have the tungsten ingot with steel ingot to make the tungsten steel, which again is 300K. So then that would make the tungsten steel coils, which would get us up to 4,500K. and that is needed to do the HSSG, which is, I'm guessing the G is for generic or general HSSs, high strength steel. So then she made these, which is smelted in the blast furnace as a dust at 450, which is why you needed the tungsten steel coils. And the actual HSSG dust is made with tungsten steel dust, which you cannot make without cooking the tungsten first and cooking the steel. You can't actually make, there is no crafting recipe or mixer recipe for mixing tungsten dust and steel dust. You actually have to macerate the tungsten steel ingots down, so you have to go through the whole blasting of this to get them, and then you mix it with 2 moly, a vanadium, and a chrome, and you get your HSSG. So then she had to cook all of that stuff up, which you'll see takes 1,080,000 per ingot. As I said, this is a very hungry process.
And time.
Oh yeah, it took forever to do it. She spent pretty much all week doing this. So then we decided we wanted to go with the HSSE, E for efficiency, I'm guessing, which is HSSG dust, cobalt, manganese, and silicon will make your E. Luckily, you don't have to cook the G and then macerate that because you already had the dust being made in the last one. So she could just upgrade that to make the E. But I will show you here, if you look at the, say, hammer here, all tools basically have the same speed, durability, and level. The HSSG is a level 3, which I don't quite understand since it's got tungsten steel in it, but it's a level 3 with a 400,000 durability, mining speed, base mining speed of 7.5, and attack damage of 6. Now if you go with the E, which is what we're using, you end up with 512,000 durability, so better durability. Level 4, which is a better level. Attack damage is up 1 to 7, and mining speed is 7.5, which is the exact same mining speed. So everything is better than the G, and the only thing you're really adding to this to get from the G to the E is cobalt, manganese, and silicon. 3 things you should have shit tons of by this point. So I see no reason to use the G for tools over the E. Now, you can also go to S if you have iridium and osmium. But if you look at the tool durability and stuff of it, it is only 300,000 durability, which is less than the E. It is also a level 4, so the same as the E. Attack damage of 7, so if I'm remembering correctly, same attack damage. But the mining speed is then 10.5. So the reason you would make it is if you are impatient and you want a lot of speed and you don't care about losing durability for it. Now, this drill that she made that is MB made out of E has a mining speed of 60 because it's MV. This thing can mine super fast. Have you tried this, Crazy?
No, I wanted to wait and do it in the video.
Okay, so this is a version drill we're going to go put through its paces. And this thing will just eat stone like you wouldn't believe. It's not as good as our vibranium, because, well, there isn't anything that I can think of that is as good as our vibranium in GT6. But I do believe this is actually as good or better than our tungsten carbides of MV. I'm going to the redstone vein we have down here. Instead of just doing random stone, I figured I'd go to an actual vein and try it out. You'll see our little cart system we have here for mining. We have it picking up stuff and deploying it, which I'll show you down here. And then we actually have a unloader at the other end that sends it up and drops off the ores and stuff like that for her or I to deal with on the other end. So we come down here. By the way, when we need iron, we have a limonite vein right there that I will deal with. Oh yeah, never mind. I already ate this vein. Watch it, Crazy. You have a friend. One of your usual suspects has joined us. So this is my cart system. I just drop the stuff in here and hit the button and sends it up to Crazy. But anyways, we'll just come over here and eat this wall.
I'm gonna eat some limonite.
I could do that as well. This is a tunnel, a hand tunnel bore. You can make tunnels like you wouldn't believe with this drill. And because it has such high durability, it'll last a long time. Alright, so let's come over here.
Rails, not crazy.
No, those rails are far from crazy, group. Alright, so there you go.
Hey, you found a cave.
Yes, I did. And there's a skeleton in there somewhere. Because I can hear him. You got one behind you, too. I gotta get out my sword and help you out here. Crazy in that nano armor. She's a badass. There's some torches down here. Hopefully they'll add the torch placement thing in the next update of GT5, because it really sucks that we don't have the torch placement in GT5 like we do with IC2 and Gregtech. And you've got friends coming down at you.
Ow.
I just backed up and let you deal with that. You looked like you were having fun. Well, you are the creeper specialist around here. You tend to get them more than anybody else. They really kind of like you.
Hey, emerald.
Actual emerald or an emerald vein? That's
Just
an actual Minecraft emerald. Yeah. I want an actual vein of them. As we get thorium. Check out this cheaty gravel. It's sitting on top of a mushroom.
I'll let you deal with those.
Yeah, they're not creepers. Oh, there's a creeper. Just let them blow up back there. Nobody cares. Hi, buddy. Yeah, she's not a big fan of zombies. They just like to hug her a lot. And she's not into hugging strange green creatures. You know what? I probably ought to eat. I'm getting a bit on the full side. Make me a record, bitch. He didn't kill me. What a bitch. Alright, I kill you for not making me a record. Alright, so that's it for today. We have a new tool. We have good oil production processing now. This is actually the most efficient way to process your oil. So you want to get to the distillation tower as soon as possible. In this most recent chemical update, you will need multiple of the distillation towers. So get used to making stainless steel. You will need ass tons of it.
You want these?
Those arrows, yes, I definitely do. We have another freaking skeleton somewhere.
Above you?
Yeah, I got it. Sorry, little bitch. Alright, so I'll have to change my cart and go for that limonite next. There is a drilling rig that we could be using that would actually get us better output of our ores. It'll give you on average a 2.5 output of crushed ore rather than 2. I will probably only use it for things that are scarce, like if and when we ever find an iridium vein, which I seriously doubt we ever will, because it's me looking for them and I can't find them. When we go to the asteroid dimension and look for Naquita, when we go to the end and look for Naquita, we will probably use it there for that. But as far as just these regular veins, I'll hand mine them because I enjoy it. And the extra 0.5 ore out of it for most things is not enough for me to set up that drilling rig because it needs drilling fluid and power remotely, and since we set this pack up to be a very manual train or mine cart driven pack, there is no real way of teleporting fluids and items in here. We do have Ender IO, but the transceiver things or whatever it is that we use on Thylacraft GT5 are disabled for that exact reason, that they make things really, really easy. And we want this to be a pack where you have to actually work a bit, where you can't just teleport shit. And also there are, if you remember from the old GT4, there are tesseracts that have been added by GT++ in this pack. If you want to use them, you can pay for moving your stuff at a very high cost because it consumes 512 EU per tick for same dimension transfers and 2048 EU per tick for cross-dimensional transfers. And that is only while it's actually transferring things. It's not an idle use. But that's a pretty good chunk of EU to teleport your items and stuff. So if you want to do it, you're going to pay for it. We're not giving you the cheap ways of doing it. We don't have Ender storage in here, so you can't just use the Ender storage tanker. The really easy Ender chests that can be automated from. And I really like it. It's kind of more of a Gregtech feel by doing it this way. I'm sure some people will disagree with me and not.
Everyone disagrees with you.
Yes, everybody disagrees with me about just about every decision I make because I like to make things a little more difficult. But I've been doing this for a long time, so I like things a little more difficult. And really, is it that bad having to set up a train track to move stuff rather than just
Yes.
teleport it? Is it that hard to do?
Hard no. Do you sometimes lose your cart?
Yes, that is very annoying. I will give you that. We actually don't know what happened to this track out here. Speaking of, we have, as you can see, a track missing. There was, what is your problem?
I fell in the hole.
Oh, yeah, we need to fill that. There was a piece of grass missing right here that had a track on it, and the track is missing. And because of that, we are missing our oil cart that has been bringing oil in, so we lost the oil. And I will definitely agree that that is really freaking annoying. And I don't know what happened because from what I understand of Enderman, they have to be able to see a side of the block to be able to pick it up. And so this block being here, this block was here. They should not have been able to flat pick that one up. And also, even if they could pick it up from the top, there's a freaking mine track on it. So they should not have been able to pick it up through the minecart track. But Bearcore hopefully will be dealing with that issue very soon. Actually, when we get done,
not added to the pack.
Not yet, but it will be after I get a issue dealt with. I should actually be streaming here in a little while with Spiger working on that issue and adding the
if he can ever stop running in his mouth.
Yeah, you just want to go to bed, hush it.
Yeah, it's like 42 minutes past my bedtime.
Yeah, you'll live. I love driving her nuts like this. But that'll be worked on hopefully after this video, which you guys will get this video after that stream. So if you want to see us actually coding, go back and watch the footage. And then we'll be adding that to this pack, driving crazy even crazier because then she can't sleep through the night anymore.
Or use bone meal.
Or use bone meal on crops and trees.
I only use it on crops.
But you don't need to. Just make bigger fields.
That takes more space.
It takes more space, it takes more time, and crazy don't want to deal with that. But guess what? You're gonna, because bone meal is evil.
It's not evil.
Bone meal is evil. So, anyways, are we done, crazy?
Yeah, I've been waiting on you to shut up.
Can I shut the fuck up now?
Yeah.
Is it possible for me to shut the fuck up now?
No.
I didn't think so. So, have a good one, guys. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, let us know.
Bye.